Recyclers fam, we're back today. We're gonna do some crushing, so here we go.
We're gonna be crushing the Zoobecks van. It's the one of the two. What did we do with the second one?
It's gonna be crushing this run too, but this one.
Okay. So we're gonna do a video of the one Zoobecks van that we have going through the Al-Jon 20. Okay. Tombstone.
Alright, so here's what the Zoobeck van looks like after it's all done. It's pretty flat, as you can see. It's around a foot tall. Down on the other end, it got crushed a little more because there was just less stuff in it. It's closer to 8 inches tall or so.
What are we referencing, like a pod? Yeah, I think if it did have the engine though, it would be flush.
There's just more stuff in the back of this thing.
I doubt that made the difference. That was just like paper stuff.
Paper doesn't squish.
What?
Paper doesn't.
It's flat test.
You ever tried to squish a phone book?
Oh my god. That looks like way cooler. But the fuel tank door's still on. It's pretty cool. That's salvageable.
You can still sell that.
How the handle too.
What's wrong? 2 feet, something like that. I thought this car was going to be inside of it more. You gonna pick it off there without knocking me off? Alright guys, figured I'd just do a quick little recap on this video with the Zoobecks van. For those of you that aren't local, Zoobecks was a local pet store. It was around Rock Springs for quite a while. These vans were kind of their advertising and their signs. They tended to paint them quite often and graffiti them with paint. And so they're pretty well known around Rock Springs. For those of you that aren't local, and it doesn't really matter who Zoobecks is, you know, it's just a good representation of the biggest thing we can fit in the Crusher, which is a full-size van. We can't run it with wheels and tires on it because it can't be taller than what it is. It's about as big as we can get in there and still get it in there. It's about 5 feet tall or something like that. It's got to squish down, get you inside the funnel area to compact down and get shoved in there. If I can get it started in there, we can crush it. We had some questions on how big of stuff we could crush through the Crusher and what it looks like for a full-size van. And so this was, you know, kind of a 2-for-1 deal where I got to do something that the local people will see and probably, you know, at least remember or reminisce, or it might be kind of cool. For everybody else, it's a good representation of what we can crush. That's the difference between like an Al-Jon 20 Crusher and a baler. A baler, you can pretty much fit anything in there because it just makes a bigger bale. As far as our Crusher goes, you know, it only can be so big, and it's got to compact down to a certain size. It can probably be maybe 16 inches tall at the tallest when it's fully compacted. If we have stuff stacked in a vehicle, or like I had a bunch of I threw a snowmobile in one once and it didn't, in a car or a minivan with a bunch of bicycles and a bunch of stuff like that, and it wouldn't compact deep enough or like far enough to get through the Crusher. We refer to it as getting one stuck in the Crusher, because then we have to pull it back out with the chain with the tombstone, and then, you know, deal with it, either pull stuff out of it, or in the case with the snowmobile, I just flipped it around and we crushed it the other way, because it crushed halfway, so we crushed it the other way and it ended up crushing down. You can't have nothing too solid. Once upon a time, we cut up a bunch of coverts, the corrugated steel coverts. They were big ones, and it was the Sweetwater County Road and Bridge or whatever had replaced a bunch of coverts or cleaned out some of the creek beds around here, and you know, all the old coverts they hauled out to us. And I spent a whole summer as a kid cutting them up into pieces, probably 3 foot by 3 foot or something, and we threw them. I threw a bunch of them in one car, and the Crusher wouldn't crush them. And so we had to pull it back out, pull them out, and we could put like one in a car and get it to crush down, because the coverts are so strong that they wouldn't crush. So yeah, we have to be aware of that with the Al-Jon 20. It is an old machine. It is not as fast as you know what the new machines are. I'd love to have, you know, a new top of the line Al-Jon baler. I think it would be awesome. But we don't do a lot of scrapping. So it doesn't really pay for itself. We don't run the volume of cars it would take to go out and buy, you know, nice, you know, beautiful new equipment and pay it off. You know, a Crusher that's $1 million or you know, $1.25 million. It just doesn't pay for that. You know, we're kind of selective. Like, we don't buy scrap metal. We're about parts and cars. The only reason we crush is to get rid of stuff that's excess, or you know, when we're full. And you know, we pick carefully, and there's videos on this of you know, we're kind of selective on what we pick to crush. So it's not like we have to crush every year, but we don't crush a lot. Basically, we just crush enough to give us enough room to, bring in the cars for the next year until it's time to crush again. Other than that, they can sit there. It doesn't hurt me one bit to have a car sitting. So crushing's just getting rid of our, I can't say garbage, but the cars we don't need anymore, the cars we have a bunch of, stuff like that. So this is a good video, just kind of a good video with all the angles, and hopefully it shows a few different areas of how the crusher works, and everybody can be versed in it. For our locals, it's something fun. We crushed the Zoobecks van and it's gone now. So there's another crushing video coming up after this one. With our full crush, we had like 30 cars we crushed in this run, and it's got a bit of work. It's not a lot for people that scrap all the time. But for us, we're a small operation. The yard's a big yard. The crushing operation is a small operation. It's run with me and Megan and one other guy. It takes some time, and plus we get to play with the crusher and that sort of stuff. Yeah, we could have cars prepped up, have a baler come in, and we could bale 125 cars in a day pretty easily with the baler, with one of the new Al-Jons. But we don't need to. I mean, we're just tinkering around and having some fun with it. It's nostalgia. I grew up watching my dad run this crusher for as far back as I can remember. So it's kind of a lot of fun to be able to play with the crusher, crush cars. It allows us to also, since we have it on hand here, we have our own crusher, that we can crush them and stack them and wait for the price to go up, or be where we want to sell them. So that's the other thing, is I can get 10 cars in the space of one car once they're crushed. Our stacks are 10 cars tall. Overall in height wise, they're probably about 12 feet or so tall, with 10 cars, maybe 11, 12-ish. Kind of depends. On a low boy truck, I can get them 10 high without getting over height, over 14 feet. So, I figure they're probably 12 feet, 11 feet, something like that, with a stack of 10. It's easy to keep track of and keep count of, and that's why we do it. So we got 240 cars crushed this year. We'd like to have 400 total, just because we've reached the point where we're at the car count this time last year. So I'd like to get another 200 car slots for the yard for the coming year, winter time and spring, until we do some more crushing. So keep looking forward to the videos. We're gonna have some other videos. I do know that all of the projects and everything else is kind of slid back on the schedule, but crushing's been kind of an important thing, especially we're crushing twice as many cars this year as we usually do. But I'd like to have that room so that we can do more video stuff. We can do we don't have to spend as much time rearranging the yard like we did this year. The main yard was full of cars, and it shouldn't be. The west lot was full of cars, and it shouldn't be. Basically because we didn't have anywhere to put them out in the main yard, or into the east side of the yard, because we were full. We were at capacity. So hopefully getting these extra 200 cars this year and taking our time to do that, or taking the time to do that, will help us out next year. So hopefully, the plan will work out, everything will be better, and we'll have some more time next year, next summer, instead of having to, we're having to do extra work this summer, so we don't have to do extra work in the future. So I figured I'd just do a little recap and let you guys know that we got another crushing video coming up. I'll get it edited up and get it sent out as well. So until the next video, thanks for watching.